like 80 mods for like hairstyles.
Okay, we're back.
Oh yeah, it's mostly all like outfits for
Cosmetic.
women characters, you know,
Yeah.
or proportion sliders.
Mhm.
Infinite
But after 10 pages of
titties.
that, you'll probably find the optimization.
There we go.
Unfortunately,
Everything's
I
back.
did notice there were no mods for extra characters.
That's sad.
That's fine. There's
Yeah.
actually quite a
Is
bit
it-
when you think about it.
Yeah, but considering this was the same, company that made XCOM and how heavily that one's modded, like I was assuming they'd, figure out at least one or two different like temp characters.
Maybe.
We haven't quite broken their
I think the problem is you have to find a way to add cards,
Do you really
That's fair,
believe
but I
that will be
mean,
enough?
considering that's the whole like MacGuffin of the game.
yeah, but I mean if you use the DLC one, right? You could probably use those as like, if it's like Falsebound where you need to do a one-to-one.
Oh sure, just like override
Tired of hearing that.
Mhm.
someone like Deadpool or whatever.
Yeah.
So there. Need to see my
Or
shitty
even like
one-star rating
limb
again.
some of the hunter's cards or something,
Right.
or just take like one card away from everyone. That's probably enough for one character.
Oh, there are so many bad cards in this game anyway. I don't think that would be a problem.
Exactly.
But yeah, I was gonna say, Pooch. I think like Top Goat's like talking hasn't been in depth enough to like tip anyone off of anything.
Yeah, I just didn't know if he was gonna keep elaborating.
So
He seemed
far,
really
he
like
hasn't.
excited about it in DMs, and I was like,
So far, he hasn't elaborated. And I'm not gonna lie to you. When you were going over stuff with me the other day, I kind of zoned out just a touch.
good.
Like I was listening. I get what you were saying. Don't get me wrong, but
Mhm.
I zoned out just a just a
Yeah, it's
little bit. So it's not like I would have gleaned any info because I was like fucking zombieing out in real time.
Well, here's the thing: for a couple people that I like want to have help with stuff like stability testing, they're just gonna have more info. Like Marshall, obviously.
Marshall
Yeah.
and Zach, I think it's fine, just because their rosters didn't really. Marshall's. I can't speak for Zach.
They
yet.
made sure the rosters weren't using that info, from what I saw.
No, Marshall really fucked with me, but he probably trolled himself, honestly, with some of it.
But she had to.
He didn't
Yeah.
have to. I think Marshall
He
made
didn't
some
have to,
educated
but he-
decisions that didn't break the competitive spirit of the game.
No,
Yeah.
he went through some weaker strategies, honestly, to show them off. So I kind of liked that, but I didn't tell him to. He asked me
I
if he
didn't-
should, and I was like,
I didn't
Just
tell him to do that either.
do what
by the
you
way.
want.
Yeah.
Literally,
Hey,
do
that being
anything
said,
you want.
seeing the fucking Karibo change, that I was not the fucking. He's got like 35 luck now, late game, crazy.
That was a Marshall suggestion. That was his one.
Of course, that was a Marshall suggestion.
He wanted to know if we could give some like the double lucky, and I was like, fine.
Mm-hmm.
Florida, man, that's the same thing.
Oh yeah, that's like built in.
Yeah, but-
Florida man's like,
Karibo has a Z move that hits the
Yes.
whole field.
Yes.
So now
Are
you
we
gotta
gonna
get to
be-
level
And multiply gives
145
1,000 attack,
to Get
too.
that?
Search, Superlink.
I did try.
Yes.
Yeah, I tried to put it really late game. Same with Florida man's is
Hmm.
pretty late. Is lucky.
Yeah.
But if you didn't change that specific encounter at the end, that's going to be a pain.
Counter at the end. I changed all the encounters,
There.
but
Oh.
some of them are supposed to be hard.
Really?
So,
A Garbo
Yeah.
card?
you know.
Yeah,
That said, I
it's
think
just we need to have like you in case there's there, you need to have a really good plan, or if the computer says no, you die before you can move.
there are some
Because
really
they're fast.
good fights, but I think also, I think it's maybe easier than Kaizo.
I
There's
don't
no
know,
RTS stuff at minimum, so like,
I don't imagine going to be easier than Tyson.
I just don't know how much. It's really hard to
You've
gauge.
got the fallback plan ready to go whenever, in the form of a god item. What more do you
True.
need?
True.
Look, I just want to throw my super slow sewer generator and hope for the best.
Yeah.
HP wise.
Oh, you are gonna love this.
I can now build cards, I think.
Oh, Zeno,
What's up?
you were asking about the Marshall the other day, though, but I am gonna
Was
do
I?
some mixing. Yeah.
Oh, about the colors. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to wait until everyone rolled before you release that info at this point.
Well,
The draft
So,
is in 2
ye-
days, so he can do whatever he wants with it, and not be a problem.
but here's the thing. Yeah, so I haven't told anyone what they're gonna be yet, but I will show everyone before you have to lock in your teams. You know what I mean? With the
Yeah.
monsters.
Yeah, I imagine that's how it
I'm
went.
just happy
Yeah, wait.
we're hopefully not gonna get 3 blue orbs.
I mean,
All right, here's the
Oh, are you talking
might
about
still
like
happen, I
shuffling?
hammer.
because you're talking about like Mokuba, Lord, and Kaiba, right? I'm assuming,
Yeah.
maybe.
They're
Okay,
all
yeah.
so similar.
I thought Kaiba was white.
Kaiba's
No.
is different than Lord's a little bit, but it's barely. It's like
Yeah,
a
they're
speck
both-
more
they're
blue,
both
and
pretty
Mokuba's
much
is
like-
more blue.
Yeah, they're like blue eyes plus or minus like a point or two.
So you can only build cards.
Mokuba's kind of like Tristan,
Mm.
kinda, where it's
His
like
I don't have as much of a problem with, except for the fact that also Lord of D. You know,
Okay.
well, yeah, and here
the fact that all 3 of them are together is just like the
the Lord thing's an interesting problem. I have to be really careful changing his orb,
Oh, and I can craft blueprints. Okay.
just because like there's an entire mission of it. It's a Marshall.
Oh,
Okay.
right.
Yeah, so like I can and I will. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
some of the changes I'm going to do might have campaign ramifications, and I don't know how hard they'll make them.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be too bad, but you never know. But well, even other people like because I want to change a couple more. There's overlap in Yugi too. That's pretty annoying.
Mm.
Or just like boring combos. So I'm gonna do both like rosters fully,
Mm.
but I'll have to be careful.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah, because like I can't like. There's so many fights in the game. It's so hard to remember.
Yeah.
Oh, that's...
That does make sense. I was thinking it'd be as easy as just like make him Lord of D color, but yeah, if his orb has to
Well, that was-
match your starting
It's funny
orb
you're
has
saying
to-
that. That's a pretty normal thing I was thinking about. And it's not a bad idea. I just have to make sure.
that it doesn't screw over those other fights.
Yeah, well, it's not so like. Yeah, basically. I don't know how orb matching fully works. Like, I get the general premise, but there's sometimes people that orb match that I don't expect to, because like I'm not quite sure like what colors fully go into like the orb combos, because some of them are a little weird.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's
suddenly-
all based on the 3 values, right? So if you
It
just
is,
have
but
a
I don't
number
know
of
the full values, like what they kind of look like sometimes, or what the minimum threshold to start like orb matching with like. I've seen like Fizz's match someone that looks to me like a completely different color, but like
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah, that's fair.
and I'm sure there is like a way to do it, and some people are better at gauging it, but it's not my strong suit.
Yeah, trust me, I'm also there. I remember trying to put like a blue orb on Tristan in one of my campaigns, and I'm like, they look the same, but I'm not getting the attack bonus.
Yep.
What is happening?
Yeah. So there's some of that, but
That's why in season 6, I had to swap Dragon Zombie onto my Yugi team at the end, and their orbs were so perfectly matching that I was like,
23.
they
credits.
should be fully matched, but I'm missing about 400
Singular.
HP.
Duel?
yeah.
And so I had to do like 2 extra fights to get the orb to match properly, and then it jumped up, and I was like, yep, there it is.
Yep.
So
I probably feel in some of the draft leagues, I'm like, damn, this looks so close. Why don't I have it yet? And the next mission's like, oh, I have it.
So you just had to scratch your left nut once, and you were there, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Would have been nice to know." Like,
Well, it's hard to gauge too, because like I know like it's kind of hard to get them to match in game too, because it's very slow. I think like killing a monster gives you a bonus towards it.
it does.
But other than that, it's just like beating your head against the wall and putting them into fights forever.
The best is when yeah, like that. But then like you have, I think there was a moment where PK Nut was like, yeah, my character will drop out of the attack or the attack match, and I'll lose like an AP for like a mission or two, when he was testing his MOBC for season 6.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? How the hell is that even possible? Like,
Yeah, I don't know. It's a little jank. I don't
Well, I
really
think it's one
love
of
the
those
Marshall
because-
system in general for like the orb stuff.
yeah,
It's very hard to balance around.
it's not great.
I
Because the
imagine
stats are insane you get from them.
the BLS thing came about because it's just on the edge of matching, and if you do a mission, it's gonna pull towards the other 2 Mons on his team more.
Especially if they start getting more kills
Yeah.
and it starts pulling further.
So I imagine that's what he was concerned about, but even still, it was one of those like, all right, I guess.
To be fair, I never cared that much in Draft League about it at the end of the
Yeah.
day. I just know they're gonna match eventually. Long
Yeah.
before you're done the campaign. No matter how far off they
Some
are.
of them take a lot longer. Like Skull Knight takes fucking forever.
They do take longer, but you know, I mean, at the end of the day, you will get them, and a lot of the
Yeah.
early missions are just so
Don't
much
really need
easier.
'em. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Then,
sure.
you know, there's always the free combos. You know, people
yeah,
that just
I'm
instantly.
sure it's much more important on the shittier Mons because then it gives them the early boost that they kind of need.
Yeah.
Can, yeah.
Wasn't enough for them. They come
You
for the
can.
most vulnerable.
I try to orb match when I can, but I'm not willing to like tank like a team synergy over it.
Exactly. Yeah, of course.
But if I, you know, if I'm on the fence with a couple of teams, that is like the big like, you know, it's the tiebreaker.
Mm-hmm.
Some people go really hard though. They're like they want them all matching nice, and I'm like,
I like
kinda
to
get it.
try, like you said, if it's not gonna break the synergy, I'll be like,
Yeah.
all right, maybe I throw this guy on because he's closer.
oh yeah, I've like shuffled over it before, but it was usually things I was like, you know, weighing a little bit anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, it's a Marshall.
Ah.
Hi, Marshall.
Apologies if I sound weird. I'm stuffed up as hell today.
You don't
Oh,
sound
you're fine.
You
You
sound
sound
fully
fine.
stuffed up
kicking
than
in.
usual, yeah.
I do get it though. Yeah, they're really bad here.
It's certainly reaching that time. I hate to say.
It's been a rough year, I think, for it. It's been very polleny.
Yeah.
Disarray.
At least where I am, it hasn't rained a lot, so it's very weird. There's like a month straight where like my car was in my driveway and it was just kind of like covered in shit like every day.
I'm glad to see you're representing.
I'm
the
getting a new car soon.
Ooh,
Oh, alright.
Yeah. Getting a Honda Civic.
ooh,
Yeah, pretty good one.
nice. Yeah. Can't go wrong. I guess back to the earlier thing. So, King, you're saying don't do that?
Yeah, I'm thinking for now it's fine.
Okay.
Really.
I just didn't know if people are going to be like upset later.
I mean, I think they, in theory,
People
they
aren't
could
paying
be.
as much attention. I don't think we'll know later.
I'm curious.
So we're talking about Top Goat, talking about growth trees, Marshall.
Yeah.
That's what you were curious about.
Right. Yes. Because I asked. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
The whole question of them was just like,
People want to know.
with
Oh,
No
some
one's
people have
asked.
access to more info, and no one's asked, but I don't know if he's gonna keep talking
I
more
said it
about
might
them.
affect.
I
because
didn't look at the growth trees again. And I basically had all but forgotten the vaguest details about them
Dahlia was on her own.
Yeah.
before I went into the draft.
Burgeoning abilities.
But also, like,
Like,
you
I
know, you're
didn't even
helping
refresh
me
myself
work
by
on
looking
it.
at
So
what the
it's
monsters
just gonna
had.
kind of come with the territory a bit.
Yeah, that's just part of it. I did my best to be like, I'm kind of going in.
No, you've been a good
blind
sport about it too. You also haven't been like telling other people. So
with
Joel
all my
just
shit was
saying
done
some
before I.
things. And then posted a picture. It's like, what does?
Not any.
Okay,
I'm
is it like?
potentially willing to share, like, again, depending on how you guys feel about it. I'm willing to share kind of like, oh, what's this growth tree like?
that's the
So,
thing.
like,
I'm willing to
make
do
it
it
like a
if
general
people
vibe.
want to. But,
Yes.
but I want the whole draft entirely to kind of agree on it
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
because
I
some
would say I
people seem
definitely
to
don't
want to
want
be
specifics
very blind.
out there.
No, I wouldn't dump the actual values. I'd be like, this tree kind of does this thing. Or this
yeah,
one
I
does
would
this.
definitely keep it vague like
The
that.
specialty
I
of
want
this
them to
tree
keep it
is
vague.
Yeah,
this.
no. I've been working out names best I can with some of them, and hopefully they help a bit.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of know what they are now, having
Yeah.
just looked at them recently, thank God. But there's a few that's like, I don't really know how to differentiate them. They have differences, but unless you're looking at the like numbers, I don't know what
mean-
I'd call them.
I mean, you don't really need to differentiate them if there's just like a slight difference in numbers and timing. You can just use kind of the same description.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna. I was just gonna give a general like, like the theme of the growth tree, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but again, I don't know if people wanted that. So,
I think for now.
For now,
it's
people
still
haven't
fine.
said anything,
Yeah.
so that's why I
haven't
would
said
suggest not
anything.
doing it.
yeah, it's just if I
Yeah,
were to ever
blind,
do it, it'd have to be
I
before
want it.
people did.
But
You know.
I wasn't gonna go. I was assuming that we weren't gonna get them.
Yeah, but
As
people didn't
as-
ask anything. People are just saying it now because someone posted something and we were having the
Right.
discussion, but no one overall has gone specifically, hey, I'm interested in the growth tree.
I've said this before. I've already given out way more info than I wanted, and to some
I
degree,
know.
I get it. Right? I'm not saying
Mhm.
it's bad or that I'm upset. Like, I get it on some degree, on some level. I'm just gonna have to take this shit.
You still not able to get the rivals work or the Marvel working?
Huh?
Oh no, what's going on?
If you're
Oh
stopping
no, I'm still
because you're,
playing. I'm still playing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
so you're not finishing your thought.
Yeah, I'm like mid thought. Just bear with me here for a second.
All right.
What was I saying?
Oh, more info than you wanted.
Yeah, I've already
Yeah.
given like a lot more info than like I wanted to give out, and yeah, I think for the most part that's okay that I've given out more info than I wanted to, but so as long
But
as
if the
people
nature of
aren't
the game
asking,
was
it's
supposed to
fine.
be full surprise,
Yeah, in a lot of ways, I really wanted it to be that way. I wanted to be as surprised as possible for people. Okay, what? You won't do it now?
and you can do the research. Like, I
Yeah,
noticed
yeah.
the trees based on just the number who had it, and I went, oh, interesting. But it doesn't tell me, it just gives me a tiny clue, and I can go, okay, this might be good.
There we
This
go,
might be
I just reset
average.
it. Okay. Fucking hint
Say
off.
from that doc I dropped, you can read a ton if you like think about it a bit.
Yeah.
So
I've seen some that seem to be like average because you gave it to a lot of the high attack monsters. I went, Dark Magician has so much attack that it doesn't really need an amazing growth tree.
Oh, well, it's not. Oh, it's Alright, that's fine. Let's see what it is now.
All right, I found your stream ping.
Yeah, I just didn't link it because I'm like annoyed.
I get you. So this is the trying to get Storm mission again.
Yeah, I did a mission or two with Magic, and I got her to level up, and then like I kind of got better
Okay.
a little bit.
Probably making more as quickly as we end them.
Okay, so I have an AoE. So we can do quick
I am
swipe.
always a ray of sunshine. Reflected into
That's the magic I know.
So I can have Crushing Blow here. Crushing Blow won't destroy either thing. It's better to redraw and like wait, because it's gonna play them themselves. So let things do its work.
you would be food for a
Literally,
lesser
it's literally best just to sit there and do nothing, and then just draw cards until you get what you want. Okay.
Can do.
Too many of them. Blade usually has these things under control.
He seems to have fallen behind.
You can tell him yourself. I don't care to be growled at.
It's fine.
Ready?
But yeah, I think for the time being, people will like be fine.
More dangerous than
I should know if they were gonna get baited by like any of the stuff said and be like, oh shit, this guy must be OP, and then go put him on and be like, oh fuck. Ah man.
Yeah, like it certainly kind of was an issue, or like maybe not an issue, but like
I will say, having
a
looked at
potential
certain
concern.
things, I have some minor regrets over some choices, but I have to
Like I said-
commit to them now. So
Well, they asked earlier. I was like, Marshall definitely didn't take advantage of his knowledge, which is fine.
Yeah.
I think that was good because he probably could have, but you were pretty
So-
restrained in your
Yeah,
draft,
might have,
which I appreciate. But also, you didn't have to.
drafted and
But
traded
imagine-
very differently.
Imagine
but,
this: if he had posted that information before we did the draft, or
Oh, yeah.
before
Like, before
everyone
people
did
made
the
their cuts.
banish.
Yeah,
So
that's what I
you
didn't
go-
want happening. People making decisions on vague info from like other stuff that's also slightly out of date.
Yeah, so Yudo banished Thunder Dragon or something,
Covered up Kyriushin, which
and that
Yeah,
He
which is
wanted to
why.
banish Thunder Dragon later, and I told him no.
very effective.
I mean, I would
can
get
call me an
Thunder
asshole for
Dragon
that.
over Kyriushin.
But well, he initially banned Thunder Dragon or Kyriushin, and didn't read the
Wait.
chart that things had changed or that trades had happened or whatever.
Yeah.
which is fair. That's what you were supposed to do. That's what everyone was
Yeah.
supposed to do.
it was
So
supposed
he got
to
kind
be
of
that
fucked
way.
over because he
Yeah,
wouldn't
no.
have known if that trade had happened when he cut. So
Well,
in theory, it would have been a better decision
Oh, they did end up trading.
if everyone had been blind. For like cutting Kyriushin over Thunder Dragon, I meant specifically. If
Oh, he
two-headed
does
was
lead.
still an
Good for
option,
him.
you know.
yeah.
So that's why I felt kind of weird about it. It was like I almost wanted to just like let him.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah,
in theory, his old decision
Maybe I
would have
should
made
have
sense
looked
with
at
the
that.
original rules. And he kind of got fucked over by playing correctly.
yeah,
make
and
sense?
that really annoys the shit out of me, to be honest.
Right, and this is why I'm kind of emphasizing, especially for the next draft.
Oh, rules will be
You'll
heavily
probably say it.
clarified.
I'll say it again. I'll ask people if they're listening to me. And then if you break it, you might get a penalty.
minus
I'm gonna
100
have
like
to.
You
give
can
it
only
to
say it so many times and be like, listen, I get it. And it's not a huge deal, but also it does have effects like that.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah. And I think what bothered me the most was the fact that what bothered me the most is and partially it's partially my fault. I went in and I'm like, people are gonna talk, so I don't really mind talking, but I don't want any trades like established during, like, after I say, hey, no trades can happen, don't trade, you know, which I put in the chat, right? Like,
You did. It's in the
People
list.
just ignored it.
They did.
They didn't read. They didn't read.
and I was like, people are gonna talk behind the scenes. That's fine as long as it's not like public, or I've come to a decision, or I've
Right, then we
decided
don't
what I
even
want.
know. So that can't really. at least
Yeah.
I think
And that's fine. As I said, it's the collusion, right? Or the not the collusion. What would they call it in the NFL? The That's fine.
Insider trading?
No, the tampering rule. Like, don't tell me you're tampering, and no one's gonna care, because everyone in the NFL tampers. Period.
No one would ever like underinflate a football.
I was thinking more of the
The meme.
Falcons.
Where I live, that was a big controversy because I'm on like the East Coast.
I was thinking more of like the Falcons, where the Falcons were illegally talking to Kirk Cousins
Yeah.
Protect the children.
during the like non-negotiation period.
And it happens constantly in the sporting world. It's
yeah,
just
it
kinda-
happens nonstop.
Yeah.
And so like that was like really my point, was like, don't tell me you're colluding and I won't have any knowledge. Like, be smart about this. Don't tell me what you're doing and there won't be an issue.
But also, we're not endorsing it or encouraging it. Please don't.
Please don't.
But if
right?
it happens,
Please don't.
I don't want to know. And don't make it public, certainly.
Yeah. And I think we said a thing or two, or Marshall may have said a thing or two, but we had no intention of completing a trade or even pushing discussions that far.
No, and at the time when people were talking, I think hopefully a lot of
People
it was
were
that they
already talking.
genuinely forgot the rule. Which is crazy, but like, I don't think it
I
was.
doubt it. I don't think they did.
I don't know.
We had misinterpreted the rule. I know.
That's
My
I'm-
problem with you saying that, Xenom, and I'm going to be very blunt with you, and
That's
maybe it's not,
okay.
maybe it's not you, maybe it's your, maybe Rockerai, but
Mm-hmm.
Rockerai, I have my message saying no trades are allowed until everyone cuts. For Rockerai to be the next post in the general draft league chat saying I have reached a trade. You could literally
that was
read it.
definitely, Yeah, definitely was not a good look on him.
It looked awful.
Yeah.
And of course, the trade being bad did not help matters
Yeah,
at all.
that's when I asked you.
Here's the thing, right? I had told Rockerai, like, hey, here's what we should start looking at for trades. I didn't tell him to go do it. And then he kind of got, the next thing I heard from him is, here's their response. And I went, all right, well. And by that point,
Yeah, it was
already
not
happening.
good.
All right, and the theoretical
But-
thing, part of it was
By
that
the way, at that point, Marshall had already stated that he was making offers as well.
Humanity does not speak for us.
I was
kind
making
of.
offers, yes.
Yeah. Which
But,
is
like-
what we were technically doing by that
and,
point.
and
until,
that's part of what I wanted to avoid too, because it was supposed to be a risk of, say you had a gem elf, just one, and another team had a gem elf. You're taking a gamble as to whether they cut it or not, and you're even going to be able to get one. So you have to be willing to accept that you might be stuck with it. And I wanted that to
Yeah,
be part
for
of the
sure.
risk for this particular one.
yeah.
But when you know what people are going to trade ahead of time, it mitigates that. You'd be like, oh, they don't care about that combo. Fuck this girl. Like, cut her. Like, and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
get her out of
Yeah.
here.
I was trying to avoid some of that just to keep the slightly
Yeah, well,
more random.
I
too.
thought that the trades just weren't going to go on the list until like everyone was done.
Mm-mm. No, I get some of it was just maybe misinterpreted, but we're gonna try and be very clear for the next one. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, I'm gonna spend the night and tomorrow, like, and it's not just gonna be the trade rules, but the trade rules need to be done by Thursday. I'm gonna clarify the whole thing because I don't want people thinking that I'm like trying to skirt rules either later on.
Right.
Which is not true. It's not, obviously.
Yeah.
But I can't have like what happened Saturday like happen all draft. Like, yeah, people could be like, "Oh, I misinterpreted rules and whatever." Like, throw it out the window, I guess. But I can't.
Yeah.
It can't happen again. You know.
For sure.
There
Well-
can't be any more of that. So.
I'm sure it doesn't need to be said, if there is a mistake on me or King's part, like say one of us leaves Rabid Horseman on a wheel,
That's right.
it's going to get removed. Mistakes happen. I've seen plays double up on a monster before and just remove it from the wheel. They didn't let someone have 2 of the same blue eyes on a team and get quintuple stats. There's going to be no favoritism, even if someone's a shitty player, and that's an excuse, because that's also, like, horrific.
Yeah,
But one, it
not
doesn't
fucking
let
happening
me-
Again.
If someone's using a Crimson Sunbird, their feedback on the ROM is invalid now. Like, I have no idea. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Like, it's just...
gives you nothing.
It gives me nothing. It's not a great look for them. Imagine he places higher because of that, or something like that. It's just, like, competitively, like, weird. And I don't even think it was that funny of a bit. It's kind of, like, funny at his expense, which I know Space Case is
Like-
controversial, but, like, it wouldn't have flown with anyone else. But that's...
one of
Yeah,
those
that was
like
really not okay.
It should be like kind of addressed. So if something like that were to happen, which I don't think it will, I think we can all understand that you just, you know, spin the wheel again and remove it. It's not a big.
Yeah.
It's just human error. We don't have to make a whole spectacle out of it. And if Tom tries to do it again, you know, it'll be a whole discussion. But
Whole thing and a half.
I think most people in there understand like how that stuff works. I just, you know, I'm gonna be kind of clear with it. Or King,
Yeah.
whoever addresses it next draft. That's
You
like,
could
alright.
do it if you want, bitch. I'm not gonna like.
I
it might
can,
be
yeah.
better.
I didn't know if you were gonna put it in like you probably don't have to write that, but I'm gonna really hammer it down if people try to like meme certain parts of it. It's like no, we gotta rein some stuff in because that was kind of
yeah.
Not
One
okay.
thing I
Kind
would
of
like
upsetting.
you to include on that rules
Shit.
clarification is to have people make at least their cuts before they leave like the whole call, because like
Well, the problem with
assuming hey you can't make trades until everyone's
it
done
kind of
cutting,
sucked because I think
like,
Yujo went to
just left.
bed.
Yujo went
Yeah.
directly to
Yujo
bed.
just left.
Well, he went
So
to
no one
bed.
would have been able to do anything.
I don't
for
know
the
if he
rest
can
of
sit there for like 2 hours if someone mulls the cuts over forever though. You know what I mean?
the time. Yeah, give
Yeah.
him like 20 minutes to decide or something.
Well,
Oh.
again, my problem with that specifically or explicitly is the fact that Yujo went to bed. Like, it was 2 a.m. for him. That doesn't seem fair to make him. I need you to sit here another 10 minutes and figure this out. No,
He has
Fair, I
work
guess.
the next day and stuff too.
But, like,
Circumstances, how it turns out, yeah. That's part of the issue just in the whole time.
well, but and the thing is,
So,
you're allowed days to make the trades if you wanted. I know everyone wanted to
Yeah.
get them done ASAP, but sometimes you just have to be patient and wait.
I guess.
Because we haven't even built teams yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
there's
just
plenty of
easy-
time.
Yeah,
Throw
it's
them
just
into
it's
each other?
very it's very easy to sit in a call
I
when
know.
we're all here and be like, hey, what do you think about this? And kind of float it.
And it might be easier next draft because of the time zones being slightly easier, but I don't know. 'cause
Right.
I haven't seen like the new sign up sheet. I don't know how difficult that was to get people together. If someone's like, I know Zach is between.
Never gets the job done.
It was like between work and something else, so
I
he probably can't
had to
stay
just
for
reach out. I reached out and I'm like, hey Zach, I need to know X, Y, and Z.
Right,
Or-
so we
no.
probably can't make him stay for too long.
Yeah, so Zach gave me his time frame, and then I'm like, I have to work around Zach's time frame to the best I can, and so I did.
That's why it just might be hard to like kind of keep people there even longer.
Yeah.
Because some of the trades go on for a while. It took a while to like finish negotiations on a few of them, just because like there's multiple offers. They have to think about team building a lot.
Right.
Fine.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Now don't, I don't want to rush people either,
Yeah.
especially newer players.
If you were truly evolved,
Um,
you
which
would
will be
see
less of an
no
issue
mercy
next draft,
against
but
those who cannot defend themselves.
there's still a huge experience difference between quite a few of the players. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I am gonna be like a lot more clear this time that people should know and like not there should be better etiquette this time. Like people know there's not really an excuse.
now that we've like definitely discussed it, we're gonna bring it up. It's a lot harder for them to misinterpret the second time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, all right, let's make sure
Okay.
this
How
one
did
we're
I get
kinda-
thrown into the wall? So yeah. not happening again at this point, I think.
Definitely never the voting on a monster thing. My God. To a certain
I
extent,
thought that
it
was just a meme. I didn't think
too.
he'd actually do it.
I thought it was for fun. I, didn't
I was
think
also
it was-
hoping Space Case would just say no and be like, that's kind of insane.
Yeah, he kind of just took it, and I'm like, I was stunned. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't.
I'll be
believe
uber
it was
upset
just
if it
like
affects
that.
anything in the draft. One thing I'm gonna say, I've said to King, and maybe it's overstepping, he's not allowed to revive it. If it dies, it's dead.
Oh
Like,
yeah, for sure.
It's not.
absolutely not. I know there's
It's
a
already
revive rule.
It's already a fusion.
Yeah, it's already it's a banned monster that he's using. Like so, like I hear Tom saying, "Well, the rules say you can revive." It's like it's already against the rules to use it. That's why it being
Yeah.
on the wheel shouldn't have mattered. It should have been obvious that we respun it. It was on the banned monster list, directly below the wheel. So like,
Like it was not okay that
it was a funny bit, but we don't have to push the bit into being a real thing. Because if that happened to any other player, you know, it would have had different treatment, and that's not how the draft should be.
Yeah,
Different
of
people
course.
shouldn't have different rule sets. That's insane.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I wouldn't have signed the thing if I knew it was actually like I thought that was the bit.
Mhm.
You know, like
That
one of
was the
those
thing.
Should,
I'm gonna
should
reload.
Smoke get his monster back on mission 3 kind of things? Like it's not gonna happen no matter what the poll says.
Tom was very insistent that it happened, and I felt a little backed into a corner. So I just kind of like, it's like, well, I guess he'll say no, and then he didn't, and I'm like, oh,
Well,
well,
there were people who were like, "Oh, it's chaos draft. So it doesn't really matter." So I was like, I guess if no one else is gonna be upset about it, I don't want to be the one guy like slamming it down."
yeah.
But like, probably should have, you know, in hindsight, just been like, "Nope,
Yeah, maybe.
call me the fun police all you want."
Well, I think I agree. It is like Space Case, so like, but it can't.
But it's
happen
just a
again,
precedent.
even if
Like,
it was
what is
Space Case.
Zazen gonna get for a buff, and how are we gonna nerf the winners of all drafts? You know, if
I-
we have new rules for power levels.
Like, I agree with you. I'm not arguing. I'm not fighting with you, Pooch. Like,
No, I get it. I want to make the stance clear, just so people know.
Yeah.
It's not just because it was on Space Case either.
It certainly doesn't help, but that's not the
I wouldn't
whole
have
story.
felt better, even if it was on. Oh, I would have felt worse if it was on a better player.
Hmm.
But it barely changes. It wouldn't matter who. You can lose it on mission 1. I still don't think it was fair. You know, at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
How long have you been waiting to do
I
Which
get you.
you can't lose that on mission. With the stats it has, it's absurd. I'm sure you all have the doc. Like the fusions are not okay. It's kind of like Kaizo. They're not okay. I know they've used them in a draft league before, but at least everybody had one. You know what I mean? So it wasn't just one person having it. So that's a whole different debate. And even then, they hated that rule eventually. So,
Wait,
like,
what rule?
they played with a full fusion in season 4? Question mark.
Oh yeah,
It was-
that's why I saw them banned.
Yeah, it was.
And there was no level cap either, so like you could have a 99 Twin Head Thunder Dragon with like Pot of Greed, just going crazy.
And
Yeah.
people still lost.
Yep, they sure did.
That's the thing that's still like that. Like I wish there was more footage of that season.
Yeah,
Because,
I
like,
kind of wish
how?
I'd seen it. That's kind of crazy. And allegedly, the
The,
draft.
the only ones
are-
I've seen, I think, is Grievers, where he just has the Gaia champion the whole time.
And you have to remember, like Magic was a little stronger too. The enemy team, there was no like super boss end fight, so like the season was also easier on top of it.
You're lucky it's as far as
So like it's still people like lost. It's kind of crazy. Yeah.
It's actually just
Uh,
utterly insane in hindsight.
Yeah, because imagine if you had all of that for season 5, would have completely changed it. You had a 99 like.
Three
Meteor
fusions
Black
in one
Dragon.
team.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
3 fusions in one team.
No, you had one singular fusion.
Yeah, you got
And
to pick
one
it
class.
and just put it on whoever you wanted, but you could put items on it and shit, and it had no level cap.
Yeah.
So like,
Which it was 100% as broken as you think it is.
I don't even know why they thought that was like a good idea. That's like
Because
so
they had
weird.
done it for a
I
while at the time.
I
I
know.
wonder,
but,
do
like,
you get bonus stats if you fuse a monster and have the fusion already on the team?
no,
would that
it
do
fucks
the,
the
like,
fusion
level
over. Actually,
Okay, gotcha.
I think it even deletes their items.
Yeah, if you have a fusion and then you fuse into that fusion while you have it like hard coded into the game or whatever, it will just break. Like you'll just lose the monster.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact specifics, but it fucks the fusion over pretty bad.
Makes sense.
It's not in your best interest.
No, yeah, you definitely don't want to do that. It doesn't help.
I don't think it'll let me come up since I don't play Nuzlocke with fusions
Oh my
anymore.
God.
Well, I know in Kaizo like did some things to address it, or like team building how they did it, because I know it can happen in Kaizo like on like Dragon's Lair,
One of ours is down.
but
Oh, just like the enemies do it.
yeah, because you know how there's all those teams where it's like Thousand Dragon and then like
Yeah.
Baby Dragon, Time Wizard.
You
So
will see how your actions against those who cannot defend themselves are misguided.
I also don't remember if the enemies have different rules than the players. I don't know. It's not
I know
something
they
I
do
try
in a
to
couple
miss.
of aspects.
Yeah, they do for like healing specials and stuff, so it wouldn't shock me. But I don't know enough to say one way or the other.
Your
Mhm.
mind is twisted. Or maybe I am seeing things more clearly than ever.
But yeah, none of the rules are changing. It's just
Never gets
Re-clarifying
yeah.
the finer points.
So it's not like we're changing stuff to react to how things happen. That'd be kind of weird,
Yeah. Yeah, it's pure clarification, and there'll be more clarification, I think, like on other things going forward too.
I think for the most part, people get what's happening, but definitely they should ask questions too if there's like stuff like.
I do have a question for King before. Well, I guess for King and Pooch.
What is this?
Prior to the actual Nuzlocke start.
Yes.
So I know that like Invigoration is limited to 2. Deal of Phantom is limited.
Oh my gosh, I know this conversation because someone else
Yeah, like
asked.
we gotta have this conversation because I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that's the Bakuri box strategy is just to load it up with luck. Like
Now, to
the
be fair,
dagger
Bakuri
also
box-
gives luck.
I was gonna say, Bakari Box can't stack anything with 10 luck.
No, but he could do like Deal of Phantom and 2 daggers.
Yeah, and so we had this
What,
talk.
plus 20?
And I left it to King to decide, but I don't remember what like happened with it.
I
I
decided
didn't see
that
if
it
you
didn't
updated the
matter.
rules or if you just did.
I haven't updated it yet, but I don't think it matters. That's the TLDR.
Okay.
Well, here's the so like if Butterfly Dagger isn't limited, should like Invig even be limited then?
I think it could be
Good
one of
question.
those if you have one, don't have the other kind of thing.
We thought about that, too.
I think there's also there's a stark difference between the 10 luck and the 5 luck things.
Yeah.
For sure.
And the only time any of them are broken is with the guard shoes. The actual stats on critting and missing isn't that ridiculous, especially when you're giving up all your slots to do it. There's a big opportunity cost.
Yeah.
And for things like Magic Formula, you're not getting the AP that like Pot gives you, etc. Like you're losing out on things.
Yeah, for sure.
So I know Top Goat was talking about a strategy he did in Challenge Run. That was why he was like freaking out, and I was like, the version you were playing on also, I couldn't edit the items to do what I wanted, so like that one had a better version of Pot of Greed on it, and he was triple stacking it. It's like that's not even a real item in Draft League, so it's not a real thing to worry about. You know what I mean?
All right, as long as it has been considered.
It's been considered. I don't have a good solution for some of the stuff yet because my end goal, I'd love to just kill that mechanic entirely, the multiplying your luck when you guard.
Yeah.
It's very hard to do, but I think we have a good idea of where to start looking for it. And I don't know if people are gonna like that change or not, but it's what I'm gonna do for mine. So like,
Fair enough.
I doubt. Like, I don't know what Kaizo's gonna decide if that knowledge comes out. Because I know
I think people
it's the
don't like
reason
it.
pot is restricted.
People don't
Because
like
Tom-
it because
Yeah, Tom
of
said he
blocking.
doesn't care about pot otherwise. Like, if the guarding thing wasn't a thing and you couldn't just make, like, a dodge tank with it, he wouldn't care about the other stats.
Yeah.
Even though, like, they're still good stats, but, you know, it's not supposed to be a bad item. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why you would ever purposely design, like, an awful item. Especially if they
Yeah,
have, like,
knowing it's a
type and level
for
restriction.
multiplier is crazy.
Yeah, that's just an absurd number, and it's not even something the game tells you, and it's something the AI can't take advantage of. So like, it's strictly player like
Mm-hmm.
up. So like stuff like that, I don't really like mechanically. It's obnoxious to design around because you end up gutting systems around it. Which isn't really. It just makes it boring. Then you can't have any equip that does anything but just like attack. Which
Yeah.
is just awful. So someday it'll get a real. It won't need to be even be an issue. I don't know. Maybe we'll have a draft where none of them need to be restricted, like in any capacity. But it's not there yet. And it's unfortunately a lot of work to even find where it's doing that.
I bet.
Someday it's on the radar.
Still want a piece.
There's a lot
Well,
of.
I guess yeah. I don't know. I guess I don't know. Like, how many other people are concerned about it? Because I've heard it from like 3 people now.
Well, I think
About
people
like
are
the-
just.
Oh, I'm just gonna put pot on and then 2 butterfly daggers, and it's pretty much insane. Anyways,
My
like,
feeling on it is people are only concerned because it's that way in Draft League. And,
well,
like,
in casual, you can stack whatever you want. Obviously, no one's stopping
Sure.
you from doing it.
but like my point is that like people see it in Draft League and they're like, oh, it's like this in Draft League. Why is it like that? And it's like, well, because Tom didn't want people attempting to like dodge tank. And I don't think dodge tanking fucking matters, to be blunt. Nobody's building a dodge tank because the rest of your team is dying and it requires all 3 of your item slots to do so.
It's
Like,
hard to
also-
have the most attack to get targeted when you're doing that,
Yeah.
because a lot of
Yeah.
those items give either extremely low or 0 attack.
They give 0 and Butterfly Dagger gives 200.
The highest you ever get is 250, which isn't a lot. Like it's 50 damage on an auto attack, or like less on a Z, you know.
Hmm.
Give or take the roll, but you know, it's never anything crazy. So even if you crit with it, you know, it's very different than like. The thing with the crit build, the percent never gets that high. So I'm not worried about that part. And you're giving up a lot of damage to have those items, as opposed to just like, even just a basic equip like Beast Fangs, triple equipping them. If you have 3 on, every one of your A's does 300 more damage.
Mm.
That is crazy. You know what I mean? Over the course of a fight with like 6 AP, that's so much damage coming out. And so even if you get your crit chance to really high, say you got it to like 20%, you're doing double damage without any of those extra bonuses on it. You know what I mean? So like,
As they say, it
the math, you have to do the math yourself to see if it's worth it, but it's never seemed that broken to me.
Wait, do the items do double their value as additional damage?
Oh yeah, it reapplies it on a basic. Yeah, whatever the bonus was, it reapplies it a second time, but not for Z attacks or combos.
Okay,
only
that's,
for
that's
A.
what the hidden item value or whatever it's called is.
Yeah, basically,
I
and
never
there's a
knew
little bit of a
exactly how
roll
much
for it, but yeah, it's essentially doubling, it. And it's like that in vanilla. It's still like that in Kaizo.
Yeah.
And it seems like when you adjust the number, it continues to apply it. So I don't know where it's doing that in the game. I don't even know if I hate it because it gives you a reason to use A moves over Z moves sometimes.
Yeah.
But it is weird. I wish the game at least told you.
Yeah.
You know.
There's a lot of stuff like that in
It's hard to evaluate because then like it makes things like Beast Fang sometimes not look that crazy. But everyone knows in vanilla, triple staffing equips, you suddenly start like bonking. Like
Hmm.
Not looking good.
it can make anybody like kill things pretty quick in vanilla. Like you can triple equip Dragon Piper and it's suddenly doing like realish damage.
Hmm.
But none of the other stats get multiplied. It's just the damage. It's so like the luck and the speed and all that.
Hmm.
But it is weird. So. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna be looking at like what people do in this to think about how like I want to think about stuff
Mhm.
going forward. But
For sure.
it'll be interesting. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if there was a good way to like address it for Draft League besides like I know like currently it's what 2 of the item or the monster specific ones, and then pot is at 1.
It's like I'm all by my lonesome.
Well,
Yeah.
According to the sheet, only Invigoration is on there. You might be updating it for
Is
Magical
Magic
Formula.
Formula not?
We've got
I don't believe so. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought it was.
That'd be
only
even weirder. I mean, maybe. If it is like that, that's even more bizarre. It's like,
should do
I
the
don't
trick.
uh, either way, I don't think it's gonna be problematic. I think you can do good things with it, but it's not supposed to be like weak stuff, you know. But
Mhm.
like, I don't know how good Pot of Greed, Double Butterfly Dagger, Victory Box would be.
Hmm.
Like, I don't think it'd be bad, but I don't know how much better it would be than like, you know, 2 other equips and like some magic or stuff like that. You know what I mean? It just
Fair.
depends. Because you also can
Well, I
never
think
heal
the
again
idea-
doing that.
I
It
think the idea
does
is
also
probably-
depend on what kind of equipment you get.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, right, for the draft randomizer especially, but.
Hmm.
But the point is, if you triple Butterfly Dagger him and press the Z trying to like nuke them with like crits, you are gonna crit like decently often, but like you're also lowering the damage of your crits,
Yeah.
Got a reputation.
tremendously.
or increasing
at that.
the frequency. You know what I mean? So like,
Hmm.
it depends. It depends what you want. But I don't think it'll be. At least with that, they're not getting the AP from the pot.
Hmm.
That's one of the bigger things with the pot that makes it hard, because you get more turns with the extra luck too,
That was
Mhm.
try.
which gets a little difficult to balance sometimes, I guess. But I don't know.
Enough for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely worth bringing up. It is I think it's an important conversation because but we'll see. And I wouldn't want to change it after people locked in teams and like built around it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, for
sure.
100%.
But right now, there's no rules about it.
There kind of is.
There's
No,
some magic
kind-
rules
well,
thing.
So if it,
Right.
so I'd have to look at it again. If it really just says the invig and the like pot, then it's kind of weird because there's 2 other luck items essentially.
Let's see.
Well, I
Magic
thought,
Formula being like the weird one because that one's the 10 one.
yeah, I thought it was all like,
Fresh meat coming in.
I think it was when we were talking about it.
I thought
like,
it
you
had
and
been
me,
listed anyways though.
I only listed.
Wait, what?
When I made the rules initially, we were talking about problematic items. Those were the ones that were listed, the ones that I marked.
It says here,
Yeah,
Geo
which I think-
Phantom,
Yeah.
1 per monster, Invigoration, 2 per monster, Magic Formula, 2 per monster.
Okay, so that
Okay,
one is
so
right.
just a different line, I guess.
Something like that.
The only thing that weirds me out is the invig, and to a lesser extent, Magic Formula. Comparing them to Butterfly the Dagger is like they're not direct upgrades. Either of them, so like
So they
or
add
like invig versus
10
pot.
more luck, basically. They're the same, just 10 more luck. Oh, wait. Only... No, that's only Magic Formula.
Invig gives 5. Yeah, Magic Formula gives 10, but doesn't give
AP.
AP. Yeah,
Who knew that
But it
all
does
I had to
make
do
you
was just, like,
faster.
it does.
Invigorate
let
is
everyone
gives you
die,
1
and then
AP,
just
but
let
less
Wolverine
luck.
handle it by himself.
Yeah, and Invig versus Pot especially, it's like you're dropping some luck to gain some attack if you want that more.
Too easy.
But in this,
Also, they're restricted to 1 spirits only and 1 is spellcasters only. If you look at like the item thing.
yeah, but if I was looking at this, I would prefer having Magic Formula because of the speed.
Yeah, and you could use it. It's just only spellcasters could even put that one on. You know?
Yeah.
Well, and when you're
And
talking
let me tell
about
you,
the
one
speed,
one thing I do love about this ROM is that
Mhm.
you can outspeed the Harpies so much easier now with equips.
Yeah.
So it's
I
not
like that
oh,
there's,
you're the
like,
slow
speed
team,
options.
you're getting Triangle Ecstasy Spark, guaranteed.
Yeah. I tried to give more options for stuff like that. I'm hoping people will get creative with like item builds too, not just team building. Obviously, randomizer give and take, but You know.
If
There's
you
also
think we're
multiple
getting hit by a
options.
single cannon, everything's swim speed.
True. Those items are based.
Yeah. And you really only need one to get that particular buff of it. The speed is just
Yeah,
crazy.
exactly. If you want to triple stack it for speed, go for it. But you are that's an opportunity cost, you know.
Mhm, for sure.
Unless you have a buffer.
Oh well, I meant like you're not getting AP
Well, that's
or
a
lock.
separate thing.
Oh yeah, it's
Can't
pretty
wait for
easy
the,
to like. I'm hoping the buffs also help out with like, because some of these fights, I'm gonna say this: the fights in the ROM compared to Kaizo are designed to be a little bit more drawn out. Not super, but you know, for like stuff like the attack droppers and the buffers, it'll be interesting to see how a lot of
for
that
sure.
factors into it. But the pace isn't supposed to be obnoxious either. It's you know, it's still false bound.
Alright.
But well, the false bound itself already has like a weird pace thing. Like the early part's really slow typically, and for like Kaizo, the late game's really fast. It's very like blitz.
Yeah.
So we'll see where I landed. But
You get to that point where it's all right. Load in, fight, press Z twice, go to next.
yeah, basically, or like pop your magic and go burr.
More flunkies coming in. We'll be home in time for
Well, yeah, it'll be cool seeing like I can't wait to see like Graceful and then like evaluate new items. Like look at them, look at the butterfly dagger, and be like, this is shit.
Want it done right. You gotta do it yourself.
I'm surprised. I'm just looking at the Enchanted Mermaid. It's much slower than I thought it was.
I mean, it doesn't have
What's the move
legs,
speed?
so
I don't remember.
90.
It was good. Oh, I mean,
90's
that's actually pretty
average.
fast. So I want to say also,
Get up.
thing you can see it on the sheet. Well, if you look, there's a new like floor for speed
It's on the other.
that went to basically 60 is the fastest you are unless you're like a fusion, something that can't wear items normally. They're like a god, you know.
Oh yeah,
Like Silver Fang has 60 speed, which is slower than like vanilla, but he is the fastest monster you could use amongst all the
Is he
things.
also most elusive?
Yeah, but I'm saying that is 60 is fast now in this. I had
long
to
as you
bump
can
up
RTS
the
it.
number because if you put speed items on and it drops you below 0, it underflows and makes you slow.
Oh yeah.
And adepts
that's great.
increase your speed, so I had to raise the floor a bit on some monsters and kind of adjust the whole roster around it
Makes sense.
because I didn't want a player to think they were getting faster and grief themselves. Even like, especially if you stack like, you know, Knight Adept and Castle Adept and you didn't even know, that's another 15. So
Do
you
all
can
the
get to
adepts do the
0.
same thing in yours, or is it like
Knight is the only one that only drops your speed by 5.
okay? But otherwise, it's the same.
Otherwise, it's the same now. Yeah. Yep.
Here comes a few more.
So you can't go below 0. The only person who can in the draft league is Space Case, and I'm not going to adjust the monster around like that.
If Space
abomination that
Case
just
fucks
happened.
up, he fucks up.
If he underflows because of it,
That's his
That'd
problem.
be really.
'Cause it should
funny.
not have happened.
it shouldn't have happened. But you know, fuck it. I'm not changing his stats because that would affect all the fights he's in, or like people just using the fusion. You know,
Well, and that's
because
Space
someone
Case's
got
fault,
Mystic,
really.
Horseman, and Battle Ox in the draft.
Yeah.
Did
I don't
he get
remember
Battle
who,
Ox?
but
Oh, somebody.
somebody has the
Uh,
fusion.
Somebody
Corrosive.
has the fusion. Corrosive has the fusion.
Yeah, somebody has Rabbit Horseman as a fusion, which feels really bad when someone else has it with 3 equips and like matching orbs to their martial. You know, it is what it is.
It's water under the bridge now.
Right, but I'm saying that's the only monster currently that you can, I guess, play with in Draft League that could underflow, but it was not supposed to be playable, so it certainly wasn't designed that way.
Wild.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, so you shouldn't have to worry about stacking speed, assuming everything is working correctly.
No, I do because the plan for that specific team is to Mermaid Confuse, like if there's a combo or something, Mermaid Confuse,
Mhm.
Dunamis, if she gets there, can do the barrier level 5 magic, depending. And then I buff myself and then I blow them up with AoE.
Yeah,
I
no,
wasn't
no.
paying-
But what he's saying is that no monster that we have access to has the potential to overflow speed.
Oh no. Yeah. So what
That's
I
what
would
he's
say.
He's not
Oh.
saying that you should that no one's gonna
If
think
we're
speed
going
is
to keep
important.
on thin,
The speed definitely is important.
we need reinforcements.
Oh no, I meant more that it affected a strategy that I had already.
Oh, the speed ceiling.
The midnight
Yes, because based on my team, let me see something.
It's as ugly as it gets, but
The only other one who could deal with harpies is my main team because of moisture creature.
Mm-hmm.
Because my third team is not that fast.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to use the spirit to deal if the harpies show up. I was going to do them, but now I can't. I need to like. Enchanted Department was going to be like healer, had some stuff, but mostly healer because the
Right.
buff was coming from the Guardian piece.
Is it?
But
Oh,
then
by
I
the
go,
way, Pooch,
okay.
did you manipulate overworld speeds at all, or are those pretty much the
Um,
Why does that
so
make
90% they're the same, but yes.
same? Okay,
nothing
gotcha.
but good
I won't
So I
ask-
deleted Swift. Basically,
Right.
it's in the game, but it's not on anyone because I plan to put it out the door, so I don't want people getting used to it.
This
Yeah,
place
I feel
is
ya.
unlike
Um,
anything I've seen
But a
before.
lot of the fish that were really slow, I did give them their 1 speed back
But it feels
that they would have
Gotcha.
gotten from Swift because they're just like useless otherwise.
they need it.
And then 2 monsters specifically very recently got an overworld change.
Mhm.
And I can tell you what they are because you can't really see it, but
Fair enough.
it don't really matter. But I don't know if people want to know.
I mean, if it has any like real bearing, sure. If it
I mean,
doesn't,
I guess if you're gonna use them as center monsters, they are
I guess,
faster
is
than
it-
they
Is
were.
it going to potentially affect my willingness to draft either of the monsters?
I don't know.
Apology.
I
Okay,
would
then
have
keep it
assumed
Everything.
not, but they were put on to make the monster more appealing, but
Okay.
in a minor way, you know.
Does Marshall know the 2 monsters?
Yes, because he had to increase the speed
Okay.
for me. So-
Marshall, do you think that I would not pick one of these monsters or pick one of these monsters due to this change?
The changes with the
the overworld
Overworld
movement speed.
oh,
There's 2 I can think of that people probably wouldn't have thought were changed, but were. The others were some of the really slow fish that had Swift that I gutted.
Well, I'll do her.
Now, most of the guys, it's just that they lost Swift, so they don't get that movement boost overworld. But some of them do gain a movement to make up for it. Only some, though.
There's 2 that basically weren't Swift in like base, basically, and now have it. Although one of them I think is Swift and Kaizo, so people maybe
I
were
can't
used to that.
call it off the top of my head, unfortunately. That's not one of the details I have.
That's fair.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that being said, I don't recall anything being made like slower than it
Nothing
was.
is slower than it was. I can't promise that with all the swimmers.
I'm pretty sure I don't recall any of the swimmers being slower. Again, not discounting them losing Swift.
Like I don't know if I bumped up like Enchanting Mermaid, and I think she had Swift. But I can't remember genuinely. I could go look.
Well, she's
I just
still
I don't know if she had Swift and Vanilla though. I can't remember.
There. Easy.
All right. Well, I gotta go.
Can't look at that
Time
ugly
for me to
haircut
clock out.
anymore.
All right, we'll see.
Take care, guys.
Later.
But no, I don't think it's gonna affect him because I know what 2 monsters there, and I don't think he likes either of them. So I think he's good.
Wait, what's Tony doing here?
It's interesting how you solve
I
the
don't
heat
care.
problem.
But yeah, I think things will be are generally fine.
Yeah.
You even
Yeah, I don't think there were too many problems to address. It's just making sure those the trade thing goes a little smoother.
Well, that's look.
I wanted to go much smoother.
You heard me, right?
Yeah, I think it will be. It's easy enough to clarify before people even wheel their monsters, and then I'll remind them when they're getting close to being done. Like maybe the last round of wheels. Before you do the wheels, I'll be like, hey, really quick, PSA. Since you only have to remember me saying this for about a minute. And then if they continue to do it, it's like, well, alright, buddy. Alright, listen, just
Yeah.
tell you.
So I don't know what to tell you at that point. Like,
I'm gonna be honest, if it happens with like a combo and it looks like someone maybe accidentally did it on purpose, I'll just be like, oh, you don't get your trade now.
yeah.
Congratulations. I'm sorry. Call me names. It's fine.
But then we're gonna get accused of colluding and cheating and rigging.
Well, I'm not in it. I don't think you should do that part, King. I'm gonna be honest. I think for things that could affect people saying you did it to win the draft, you should just let me do it because I'm not even in it.
Well, that's the funny thing is that was
And-
always going to be the point.
Right.
Yeah, I was
just
going
don't
to.
know if that's like lost on people.
It's 100% lost on people. People think I'm going to be making all the calls. No, the point was to like for me to say, "Hey, I'm uncomfortable with this. Let me ask Pooch what he thinks," or someone that's like not involved what they think, and then get a couple of opinions and let them decide. Like there was never like a I'm gonna hog or I'm just gonna tell you no, you can't trade because fuck you. Which is really annoying.
That's just what Tom was worried about. Was that part? But I'm not even saying you were. I think that's what he was thinking with the rule. But I don't know. You know.
That tells me he didn't read the rules because it's in the fucking rules.
I know, or he just like didn't believe you.
Why would he not? Yes,
I don't know. I
I'm
don't know. You
intentionally
know,
rigging
this is
a draft league.
speculation. It's just.
I'm intentionally rigging a draft league to tell everyone to go fuck themselves because I have to jerk off to the power trip. Like what?
With the amount of people in this Discord, someone out there would.
It's a funny joke, but that's about as far as it goes, right? Like,
right, and especially since you haven't used it yet.
Well, I
if we
haven't
didn't use
used
it on
it
that
because he
last
bullied
trade,
me.
I mean, like, when are we ever going to use it? You know what I mean?
Well, and that was the
Or,
other
like,
thing too.
The DMG one.
Yeah.
That's about as egregious as it gets.
Oh god, that was unacceptable.
So like, there's never going to be a worse trade than that. Someone finishes a Blue Eyes combo. I don't even know if that's worse. It's just different.
No comment.
Yeah. Oh, and I was gonna say, like, I liked Marshall and me talked about this very argument earlier, and he made the point of like maybe instead of like vetoing it and saying no, like tell them to go back to the negotiation table and make it more fair.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a less scary sounding version of like a similar rule, you know? Because like you even brought up King at one point in one of the discussions, like calling it a hard veto makes it sound scarier than like the intent.
Right.
It sounds like, you know, the US at the UN.
Yeah.
Like, no.
The UN is here. The world police have come.
Yeah. So like.
Yeah, I think my biggest issue too is like I saw the trade and I'm like, okay, they're very fucking obviously taking advantage of someone that doesn't know what they're doing.
Not gonna lie, I don't know if I overreacted because I definitely immediately started to like freak out with the trade. I was like, that's kind of disgusting.
It wasn't. It was. This is why I got really frustrated because I think Tom wanted to like counter react to us like really hard. Nothing
Maybe.
against him. Well,
Yeah.
so I groaned, you groaned, and somebody else not in the draft like groaned collectively of like, "Are you fucking serious?" So there were two people not in the draft.
It looked
and
universally
then-
pretty bad.
Yeah. Well, and it was very clear that Florida Man was a new player, and he was getting a bad deal when there was a obviously better deal on the roster that even they agreed that they would have given up for. So like
So that was their expert player.
It was
well,
Griff that
Griff
told
is-
them to do it, which is the weird part.
which is
It makes it
infuriating
harder to
to me.
like police because he technically did get advice on the trade from an allegedly more experienced player, and Griff is much more experienced, so there's really no excuse for why he did that. And part of it, I don't know if he's like
It's just bad.
just a little bit delusional and thinks that was a good trade because like I don't know how else to call it. Like that's just like I don't know how you could think that's good. I don't think the Summon Skull one's even a good trade. I think if it's better, maybe. I still don't think that's a good trade.
I think it's a
that's
bad
worth giving the
trade.
best roster the DM
Yeah.
combo on the person who's playing Yugi. Like, that's unacceptable. Like,
It's a bad trade, but a trade that makes sense and a trade I could understand a new player making.
I could see some logic behind it more. They could have sold me more saying, well, we also wanted the fusion on top of, like, the this, and I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I
And they
disagree,
could've-
but I don't think you got scammed anymore. But
Well, I
Bakery
think you
Box is
also
just
could've-
At least you're
a good monster. That's
you
it.
sound
Yeah.
like you're at least going even, if not plus, off of that.
Yeah, there is an upside to what you did, even if you now gave an upside to a player that probably didn't need any more help because his roster was crazy.
And at least you're making them give up a good like fiend monster. As well,
You're
so.
giving up probably the best fiend monster in the game. That's not a fusion. That's or an item change, right? You're giving up the best like normal fusion monster, I think, in my opinion.
Which one? Oh, Summon Skull?
Yeah, like Summon Skull.
Honestly, I mean,
It could be
I kinda
close,
see it.
but
I could see. I'd say yes, discounting King of Yami-Makai at night.
yeah,
So the
I
thing
agree
is,
with that.
Yami-Makai at night goes crazy.
I'd agree with that.
I have to be careful what I say
Of
with
course.
monster evaluation stuff because I know the answer to a lot of these questions, but I don't think I'm allowed to say.
It's probably better.
So I
if you-
tried to be
thinking too
very
much
like,
about it.
no, but like when I was talking to Griffin them, and telling him it was a bad trade, I tried not to oversay anything that was like, this was definitely a fucking scam.
Yeah. Well, I think even on paper, like from the info
Everyone
we had
said it.
available, it was a scam, right?
You
Everyone
can see the
said it.
doc. I mean, like,
Yeah.
you know what trees their things are in. Especially with Bickery Box versus DM. They're both fucking lucky. They're in the same growth tree. They both have one dodgeball in their A. You're just evaluating having a Z move versus a combo attack, and then 200 base HP versus DM having 3 more luck. That's it. The rest of their kit is super identical. Which is weird. That was a coincidence, but they were the monsters traded. So, like, they didn't even... When people are saying, like, oh, DMG is going to blow up so much easier, it's like, no, she fucking orb matches with Yugi out of the fucking gate. She's going to have way more HP. She's going to get bonus XP.
Can I ask
Like,
a
what?
favor?
She's not going to die easier than Bickery Box. They're going to die about the same, if I'm being honest. So I don't know why that argument.
Thanks,
The
honey.
other parts, you know, wanting to combo with other things maybe made sense, but, like, even, like, Topko was harping on, like, oh, she dies so much easier. It's like, no, they're, like, the same fucking archetype. For, like, tankiness, and that's all literally just on the sheet. So I don't want people like giving advice based off of misinformation. That was just super weird. It's like you didn't look at it when you said these things. You're going off of Kaizo or vanilla, and you shouldn't do that. One, people like Topco shouldn't even be talking about it in the trade because they're not in the draft league and they haven't played the ROM. You know what I mean? Like the new one. So I don't really get it. It was just weird.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's my spiel on it.
Free. But yeah, I was very frustrated by the whole ordeal, like through and through.
The worst part is I went to like Griff and asked him, I was like, why didn't you help your teammate out there? And he was like,
I did.
what do you mean? Yeah, I just assumed the other guy made it because it was such a bad trade. So then when he told me he was the one that did it, I was just like my jaw was just like open. Like,
Well, and I think the other thing too is like he told me he put it in the public Discord that he was like high.
yeah, the player did, Florida Man.
Yeah.
Which was really funny, but also like kind of telling of why he was able to like maybe just say fuck it, whatever, you know.
Well, I'm like at that point it's really easy to see him making a bad play when he's fucking high.
Yeah.
Like
Pretty easy to take advantage of.
I'm
Which,
like
to be fair, that's his own fault.
it
that
is.
part.
It is. But you know, you could tell he had like the right train of thought and Griff just like misled him completely.
That's just that part of it is just getting unlucky, I guess, with a shitty partner, I guess.
Yeah. Dude,
Which just sucks, but like
I'm gonna say this as playfully as possible, because I don't mean this to be like super insulting, but like I'm almost wondering if just like half the like teammates that I put as the experienced players are just gonna give people shitty advice. Like,
probably a lot of them are bad.
Well,
In the void.
well, Graceful comes in and is like, I'm gonna use the wheel to spin what monster wheel I'm gonna spin, and I'm like,
I mean,
Graceful.
that's a classic Graceful thing, though. To
It
be
is,
fair.
and I think it's fine that he's doing that. I'm just like,
I'm
"Fair
just
you,
saying, like,
Joe."
I wouldn't expect more, because he doesn't really know how to evaluate some things anyways till he uses them.
Yeah, I was just like, I feel bad for you, Joe.
I mean, as long as who knows, maybe Yujo's cool.
And if
but,
Yujo might not care, that's the thing.
Oh, if he doesn't care, then yeah, it's probably fine. I don't care either. Like, there's certainly, like, a timeline where it's fine and it doesn't really matter, and I'm just, like, being a child.
Well, I'm okay with teams doing worse and playing worse because they're trying to have fun and they don't care. That's fine, as long as like they're opting into it. You know?
Yeah, and I agree with that.
And then like it's fine if they had wheels and they goofed around and they fucked around and found out and they had fun. Then that's fine. Doesn't matter if they won.
Yeah, I just
No.
don't want people, like, accusing me of, like, fucking them over.
Graceful's not going to do that because he knows he made his own wheel and it was for like the monster part. So like I don't think he came in trying to be hyper competitive. You know what I mean?
I
So,
don't think
I
anybody
doubt.
came in to be hyper competitive except for maybe, like, Xenon. To be blunt, just from, like, what I've gathered from people.
No, I get it. Yeah, most players in Draft League, like it's like half and half. A lot of them do not care ever. Like Second Flock, if he wins, that's great. If he doesn't, that's also fine. You know, he doesn't care that hard.
Yeah.
And then there's like a small handful that go in and say they're going to crash and burn instantly out of the gate, and then they usually do. Like there's like the Doom pillars like Lan and like I guess current day Big P.
Current day Big P.
Well, I remember the first draft he signed up. He was very like, you know, he was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna like fucking.
He said he was.
steamroll.
He said that too. The second draft until.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like the
until the
current him
incident.
now kind of knows. He's been humbled, I think.
Yeah, he said his soul ripped out a few times.
Yeah, which I feel bad about. But there's people like Zay. He knows he doesn't go in saying he's gonna win. You know, and he knows he's not. So I think he's just playing to like look at the ROM and try and have fun.
Feeding
He
frenzy.
still tilts and gets frustrated and shit.
Feeding Frenzy's
But,
really
like,
good,
he
though.
won't accuse you of like backing. I can't see like him or Space Kids doing that. I don't think either care enough.
Feeding frenzy.
Yeah, PK Dot's not gonna say it. Most people don't care. That's the whole point.
I hope. I hope they don't.
Someone might. People will. But hopefully it'll be the minority, and it won't matter at the end of the day, because it is what it is.
Bye.
Yeah.
The
I'm
main
hoping-
goal for signing up should be just to have fun.
Yeah.
Even if you wanted to win, if 16 people with teams, like, only 2 can win. So it's just not statistically likely.
Well, and again, too, like the whole point of the whole purpose of putting you in teams was to show off the entire ROM at once. Like,
Well, yeah, I needed that. And so people can blame me for the team thing. I know you wouldn't have made a team format on your own, so like that is my thing. But I'm
even
standing
then-
by it.
even
I
then,
needed it for like the info.
Yeah, even then
It's
though,
also
it's
cool.
not bad. Like I think
No,
having like a
That's
team
never been
format
done
to-
before, too. 2 campaigns at once.
Yeah, I think that in itself is diverse enough. You
So
know?
it's like interesting. It makes the streams more like diverse. You know, and
exactly.
you're just watching the same fights over and over and over and over.
Exactly.
Especially with the fully randomized seed. It should be pretty goofy. On top of them having a new ROM with the new items, there should be plenty to look at in the streams to be like entertaining.
Right.
I don't know. We'll see. So hopefully people will come around more on it.
I hope so. Well, I think most people are just like fine. I just think it's people that like played in the last draft that are on the outside looking in, thinking like, why would you do this a second time? You know, it worked out so well the first time. You know.
Even Tom was like, I can't believe you guys did that. So I was like, Tom, you know for a fact I asked you about this so fucking long ago, long before Plays' like season even happened. So I wasn't gonna stop it. And he's like, well, yeah, but I didn't know, like, you know, you played last season. It's like, well, regardless, I still want to do my thing, you know?
Yeah, and I don't know. I was like, yeah, I wouldn't have done it. I didn't really feel keen about doing it, but Pooch wanted to do it,
Oh, I get
and I'll help him do it. That's fine. Like, this is
So I was
wrong,
hoping
I don't
the
care.
incentive of the new ROM would be enough to make people get over it and like team it for one season.
Yeah. Well, and I think, as we said before too, like it's different with 2 players versus 3. There's a lot less.
It's so
snags
much easier,
with
and there's
2
no
players.
stakes. You get no, you don't lose anything. You can't demote.
You can't
There's zero
demote.
punishment. You just might not get a prize. Ooh.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like, someone like Zay isn't gonna care because he's just gonna do his own skins. Why would he want mine? You know.
Oh right, so like, and it doesn't. He's not hurting. He freaked out last season because he thought he was gonna hurt me in plays, which I get. But like, you can't. Nothing. It doesn't matter this season. The most you can do is stop your teammate from getting like a skin. Oh wow, crazy! Like, if they're losing their mind over that, they need to like just reevaluate
You need
like
to touch
priorities.
grass.
Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, it's about as low stakes as you can possibly have, unless we just had nothing. Unless there just was zero prize support whatsoever, and even then, people just want to win sometimes. So like, it's not going to make the non-competitive people not competitive.
Yeah.
There can be nothing on the line, and some people just want to win so they can say they won. You know,
They can make fun of me for beating me at my own draft, even though it's
Right.
not really the point.
A certain somebody's list number is going to go up, King.
Dude, I was so annoyed. So annoyed. Yeah, I
Oh,
won the first. I
that
won the
made me
first
feel
playoff.
gross reading that. By the way, that was awful.
Yeah, it was disgusting. I'm like, oh yeah, you won a completely stupid league that I put together in 5 seconds. It's like, is that really your life's accomplishment? Is beating me in chaos? Like,
Where did so like
in the server, that is. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
so,
It was weird. It was a weird flex.
it is. Very weird. But yeah, I don't know.
Thunder's gonna win, and it's not gonna be an issue. Xenom and you aren't gonna win, so it's fine.
So, Thunder
Right,
wins.
Thunder?
I'll be
Right?
very happy if Thunder wins.
Damn.
I think I'd be very happy if just about anyone wins. To be,
I keep
to be
forgetting who
honest.
Thunder's partner even is. That's the fucked up part.
Who's his partner? Haviko?
Maybe?
Who's Haviko? Has to be.
If it's Haviko, that's pretty cool. Haviko's fine. I just don't remember if it is. Or is it
Haviko-
Corrosive?
It's
I'll answer that question
Haviko.
very soon. I'll be right back. I'll answer that question soon.
I'm pretty confident it's Haviko. 95% sure. Because, like, Corrosive is with Zach.
Oh, yep. Corrosive
Okay,
is,
so was the question? Habit was my teammate.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I just kind
And-
of remember for a second.
Yeah, and I'll just tell you. We do have very similar thoughts. Like, I had team builds similar. I didn't give it to him, all of them, but I had some ideas on combinations.
Mhm.
And then when he sent me paragraphs, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs, and 3 are because I gave him my 3 main teams. He gave me the other 3 paragraphs for the other teams, and then not overall what he feels. And we do have very similar thought process, I will say. But he did has like details, like you should do this because of this, and this has like good HP and something, and the other one, this might be like they're not really strong. So you have one who will be basically your tank because he has the highest HP, but also he's your damage dealer. Like, it's detailed, not super, but
Yeah, that's good. He's putting a lot of thought into it.
Which is what I want.
And-
I want that.
No,
I
that's
want
awesome.
people
I was
to,
hoping
like,
the teams would
talk
actually
about it,
communicate, so that's nice to hear. There's at least some teams doing it. Hopefully,
Good
all.
for you. Me and Marshall
I
probably
think it's
communicate the least.
really well detailed, which
Which is good.
I'm like, cool. I don't know about the others. I would imagine a lot of YOLO, or just very simple.
Oh, I needed to actually click it.
Perhaps I should try this somewhere else.
But again, only 2 new people is me and someone else.
Yeah, Florida Man with Griff.
Yeah, apart from that, the rest are just have played it before, and I.
And to be fair, I know Griff gave some bad advice, but in theory, he's one of the most experienced players. He's won multiple, like he's finished multiple leagues. Everyone he signed up for, as far as I know, he's in Obelisk. So like, that's a very strong pairing with a new player too.
Yeah.
In theory, I know the trade has
Diluted that.
made it a little sketchy, and I have my thoughts about some of his thought processes. Sometimes
That
make
was
me a little.
a very bad thought process.
I've scratched my head a few times before, and this certainly didn't help. This kind of.
Well, because I think the main thing that he's thinking is person finished, not overall
I know.
score who wins. So I think that's also super.
I do
important
get
to know.
that.
He
So-
wants to be the resident third place, and I'm like, I'm not asking you to shoot to win. I'm asking you to like
I
give
just
good
wish
advice. Like, you know.
it just kind of sucks when someone hands like a player basically a free win.
Yeah.
That he already had.
Secure themselves third. That bothers me personally, but I don't think it's a bad strat per se if you're aiming to just win for yourself. But
Get third and
for competitive sake, it's kind of frustrating.
Yes.
annoying.
Yeah, you're kind of damning the other teams that have to watch in horror and can't do anything to stop it.
Literally.
Now, it doesn't mean
really just
Racker I
like
can't
crashes
crash and burn, but that
I'm
is
praying on
such
it.
a fucking stacked roster that I have no idea how he would. It will shock
do
me
love-
and make me wonder if I made the ROM too hard if he does. Like, genuinely. It will make me, like, question the ROM more than, like, him. Unless he does something completely stupid, but I don't he's not bad enough to do that. He didn't do anything that stupid last season at all. Like, he obviously wasn't the most experienced player and made some little mistakes, but I don't think he ever did anything, like, awful.
He got lit the fuck up by Arcana.
Well, that's some of those fights though can fuck you, like hard, like just randomly. Like I lost to Blue Eyes to the fucking Rise Black Metal team because he got confused for 15 turns. He had a pot.
Yeah.
I was like, well, fuck me. But like, you know, sometimes you just have to take it. Like,
Sometimes
maybe I
you
could have done
just
something
have to
better
take
about it, but like, it's kind of hard to say in some of the extreme cases. Like, and also hindsight, you know, is a completely different thing.
Picking want to have your day affect a little bit.
Huh?
I'm just scrolling here on Instagram. It seems that Eternals is getting a part 2.
Ooh,
Why?
that's weird. I thought it like tanked.
Bombed. It did.
I will say, I saw that movie, and I didn't hate it. I didn't love it, but I thought it was fine. But I didn't need a sequel, you know.
Didn't need
And most
anything.
people
Didn't even
disliked
need to
it
exist.
and did not want to. Well, yeah, well, that was they didn't even like tie it in with anything ever. They've like pretended it never happened since, and that was quite a while ago now. So like,
It's
their
really
own
hard
universe
here.
doesn't care about it.
They threw it with the latest Captain America.
Oh,
So
okay.
They got aluminium.
Okay,
So I
I
guess-
guess so. They eventually tied it in, but they sure took a
So
while.
yeah. So this is before Wolverine. I just went, wait, this is before Wolverine now. Okay,
Oh, the sequel
interesting
is?
choice. Yeah, because this is the first time they have this medal, and that's the medal that Wolverine gets. Like this
Oh,
is
Adamantium?
how they
Oh,
get
yeah.
it.
Hmm.
And I went, interesting choice.
I just think it's very bold to make a sequel to it. That's questionable.
That movie did not do well at all.
Maybe they're trying to like write it off as like a tax thing.
Except the movie itself wasn't bad, right? I still don't think it was really bad.
Eternals?
It did have issues. Yes, it did have issues. Like just like, oh,
It's fucking
it-
horrendous when you compare it to the comic.
Yeah, I don't know
I
the
don't,
comics.
I don't know the comics. I'm thinking
Yeah.
like movie. It's that the issue that you have the comics, that you have a lot deeper and much.
But they get a lot more time to develop things too, because they don't have just like a couple hours.
Yeah. So as a movie, without knowing anything, it's not bad. I do wish, like they're saying, oh, these are very powerful people. It's like, no, they're not. The guy, the Indian guy that I keep forgetting his name, he has point lasers, finger lasers. It's like, oh, I'm so strong. It's like, you're barely doing anything.
Well, I mean, like, they didn't look crazy next to the Avengers. You know what I mean? Like, they looked
Yeah, but they're showing
okay.
like very powerful. Like half of them are Superman. You have a Superman, super
There is a
illusions.
Superman.
Yeah, and then there's this guy that just has lasers, which I think should be stronger than he is, but oh well.
I don't know.
And then because the idea of the plot was interesting. The issue is that there should not be a movie that doesn't have anybody else. You're telling me there are earthquakes around the world happening for like a month or two, and no one starts to investigate or do something about it? Impossible. And the creature comes out from the ocean, and no one's like automatically showing up.
Yeah, I didn't come up in any of like the prior films ever.
That's the only issue that I have with that movie. It shouldn't be a standalone when that's happening.
Yeah, I do wish they they were better with their roadmap long term, and if they thought certain things were going to be part of projects, they'd put like teasers for them ahead of time to make the world a bit more cohesive for stuff
Or
like
you-
that. So
yeah,
it's just
or
also
the
jarring.
other, or if they don't show up, like on their TV show or their movie, like it is mentioned, oh, this was happening at the same time, so it couldn't. It explains why they
Yeah,
wanted.
they were
to
busy
do
because
anything.
X, you know, something.
Yeah, but no, that's the real issue personally that I have. Apart from that,
I think they-
the movie is fun.
They probably think people can just fill in the dots themselves and like use their imagination. It's like, no, you're asking too much. Like, it's kind of hard to hand wave some of it.
But kind of, you mean very.
I know. You have to be. You have to give them a lot of benefit of the doubt to like kind of justify it. Even then, it's like, eh.
It is very mid at best.
But again, I saw the movie. I thought
It's
it
a
was
good movie.
fine. I just never wanted to rewatch it because it was quite long and wasn't that interesting. If I had rewatched it, a lot of the stuff I kind of liked, I wouldn't have even liked as much because now I've been there, done that.
I like the I think the characters are well done.
I think they're cool. I think some of them had less to do. The one that like Angelina Jolie or whatever plays, like, felt like barely was a character sometimes, like dialogue wise.
Yeah, because
There were a few like that that were just like didn't do. Oh, I get the plot reason. I just felt like
yeah, I like it. I
it
don't mind
focused
it
on a
because of the
few of
plot.
them way more than others.
Yeah, but I did like that because I didn't want to be the Angelina Jolie movie.
No, I know, but even like the Speedy girl that's like deaf, shouldn't really get anything to do. It's mostly like the child one, the Superman.
Yeah.
I mean, and then the other girl. I can't remember her name. Holy shit, it's been so long.
I don't even.
Yeah, I don't know if I remember any of their names. I'm gonna be honest.
I don't remember the names. I just called them by
The
their
main, the
powers.
lead girl though. That's like
Yeah, the one
love
that
interest
does
of the
Alchemy.
guy.
Yeah, the one that does Alchemy, basically.
Yeah, those two and like the child character had the most screen time, and the rest were kind of there as like NPCs. It felt like they did some things sometimes, but it was minor in comparison.
Yeah, very much so.
They probably all could have stood to have been introduced more individually and maybe like a separate project or something, just to like flesh them out a bit more, and then give us a reason to care about them all being in a movie. It was very ambitious to expect people to care about like the entirety of that cast.
Yeah, completely.
It's just there was just too many eggs in one basket. I think, and they didn't really give it the time to get fleshed out. I mean, and some people are gonna have favorites and be like, "No, they were always completely perfect in the movie." That's fine. That's just what I felt about it. And I think the general public just didn't care about any of them ultimately because they thought even the ones that did show up a lot, they were like, "Oh, this is knockoff Superman. This is knockoff blah," you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This is the
Immortal
Flash,
didn't
but
even
deaf.
like- The Flash.
Yeah.
Super speed is just a common powers. essentially.
No, I know. There's always gonna be overlap.
Yeah.
Like
Even,
fucking
like had
Invisible
Quicksilver.
Woman is Violet in fucking The Incredibles. Like, you know. And I know Invisible Woman came first. I'm just saying, there's always, any super thing is based off of other stuff for the most part
Yeah.
because there's only so much you can do.
Right.
So it's fine. If you then don't flesh out the character, some people they just stop caring. Especially in the MCU, we had a speedster in the MCU already one time.
And you killed him.
Who also wasn't very fleshed out, and then yes, they killed in that same movie. So like, there's literal overlap in its own universe.
And then they throw him again in the other ones, like in the past movies when they were younger.
Yeah, yeah. They made some interesting choices.
It's very
I think the
frustrating.
MCU has lowered in quality a bit over time, and it's like continuously stacked the lowering of the quality. And I haven't seen any of the last 3 or so movies, so maybe it rebounded, but I doubt it. It just felt like after like the Avengers Endgame stuff, they kind of didn't know what to do. and they just kind of fucked around a bit with like experimental movies and whatnot, and like none of them really like hit.
Yeah. He's not wrong. Like after Endgame ended, they have not had a direction, and
I don't know if they even had
game.
much plans after that. They were just focusing so much on building for that big event.
I think
Which is fair.
that was
They
the
should have
original
stopped
end.
for a while.
So I think they
They
wanted
definitely-
that to be the original ending, and then they didn't have a follow up.
And that would have, they probably should, and I get, like, shareholders and stuff were never going to find that acceptable. They made billions of dollars. They weren't going to let it end. And, like, that's just the unfortunate reality of, like, the world right now. But, still, like, I don't know.
They should have taken a break.
Yeah, they
Well-
definitely needed a break and to, like, come up with a better idea. And they stopped, like, tying things into, like, future projects, which
They
the
just
old
started
MCU
doing
had
random
done.
shit. Yeah,
Like they
didn't just
felt like
short
disconnected
budget.
random stories with like different heroes, and most of those heroes were people like didn't care about them. They weren't like they couldn't go off of like huge star power like Iron Man with Robert Downey Jr. You know anymore to like carry stuff.
Now he's
So, like-
Doctor Doom.
Oh yeah,
That's
I know.
so funny.
That's so weird,
That's
and I get it
funny.
has like a comic reference, but it's like ooh, it's weird.
I was surprised I
We'll
thought
see
he
if that
went,
works
Oh,
out.
I
That's
don't
kind of-
want to do that type of role again, and then he's
Well, yeah, but money. They're
he's so
probably paying
rich.
him an absurd amount of money for
I
that.
imagine.
Oh, if you're
He's
Robert
half the
Downey
movie's
Jr.
budget.
Yeah, if you're Robert Downey Jr., you're signing up just for the money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's definitely gonna like, and you know, I think he does respect the roles he gets. Some don't. Like, you put The Rock in like these roles, he expects big money, and then I don't think he's a good actor.
He's not.
No,
I don't know
not.
why they keep signing him and paying him that much money.
because they think
It hasn't worked in like the last 10 movies he's been in now.
it's for some of
I
them
can't think of a
he
good
pays,
movie he's in.
but also he pays and makes those movies and stuff too.
Oh, maybe. I assumed he.
Like the Christmas was his movie.
Okay. But what about like Black Adam?
But he wanted the character, so I think he paid and pushed it correctly to release it.
And then
I
fucking
guess,
he
but then why
loves-
doesn't he just like refine his acting a bit then? He has infinite money. He could take classes. Like,
he was not a good
Ego.
Black Adam.
Ego.
like I guess, but like, because like it's not like we have good actors that were like ex wrestlers and stuff. It's not an archetype that you can't make work. There are people that try a lot harder. Like, oh, Dave Bautista does better. Was the
It's just- It's just the guy. He just doesn't want to.
Dave
Because
Yeah,
if you look,
does
for
better.
example, Chris Evans. Chris Evans is an amazing actor, but he does literally multiple type of different movies. Like
oh yeah, he's been in like teen comedies and stuff before. Like he'll do whatever genre kind of you want.
yeah,
But he's also
doesn't
done
find it fun.
superhero before, wasn't he? Like the
In all the
Human
weird
Torch?
super movie, yeah, he's in all the weird random superhero movies. He showed up. Most likely, he's there in some form of way. But he's good anyway.
No, he's good. Yeah, he was a really good Captain America. He kind of carried.
Yeah, but before
MCU a
that,
bit. No, I know he's been consistently a good actor.
like Scott Pilgrim, the one where he's a psychic, has psychic powers and something. I forgot what his power. No, telekinesis was his power.
Yeah.
I think there was another one he did do a superhero, but then he does all the other stuff, and The Rock does. I'm a big guy fighting the big monster, very strong. I
He has a clause
cannot
where his
lose.
character isn't allowed to like lose. That's so crazy to me still. Like,
The funny thing that he's not the only one who has that.
no, I know, but that's just like fucked up.
The guy
No one should have that
who
clause.
what's the other guy?
The toddler one.
I think the Team A, whatever that fucking movie is.
Secret Avengers.
No. That one that is all the action guys, big muscular action guys.
Expendables.
There's that one. I think all the main characters all have that clause in their characters. At least the main three have it.
I don't know how you even can have a clause like that in Hollywood would ever find that acceptable. No actor should determine the plot of a movie based on like how they want themselves as an actor to be portrayed. You know what I mean? You're
Well,
literally an actor. You're being paid to act as somebody else. That
In
is
the-
Yes.
In
your
It's the
entire
higher
purpose.
ups. It's the higher ups issue.
Well, I was gonna say in the Expendables case, it's a little different because it was basically what's his name's love child through and through. It was his movie start to finish.
Welcome to Tony's Scary Demon Cave.
He even funded it.
How may I assist you today?
Let me double check this.
I've never seen it, so I just don't know about this movie. I just don't know.
The
anything.
Expendables is a very unique
Yeah.
argument because it's its own thing. Yeah, Sylvester Stallone like directed and produced the movie, so like
He also has that clause in other movies. In any other movie, he has that clause.
sure, but like in things like Rocky and stuff, you would kind of make sense. He's been around. He's played Rocky for 40 years. You know, tell him no. Like,
Well, that's the thing, but that could have been Rocky's whole thing.
Yes.
well,
But
I
then
think
you can
he was
separate
fine.
yourself from Rocky if you want to. You know what I mean? I don't think
I
you
don't
need a
think he
clause
has.
that says like you can't, because it gets predictable too.
I think Creed was fine. Well, the first one. The second one was bad.
Starting foil extraction process.
That might be a hot take, but
No, I don't. I didn't see it, so I won't.
What can I say except
I just.
Yeah, I
I know
do know
people
there
aren't super
are
happy with the
movies
sequel, so I don't think you're like in the minority, probably.
after the Expendable 2 and stuff like that,
the steaming coil
and some other movies like that, I went, okay, you're here, you're fighting. Why are you retreating? Like, you didn't get hurt, nothing really happened. You had a fight scene, cool. Oh, there's something happened, and you had to run away. I know you're going to win already. Nothing happened to you, you should have kicked that guy's ass. Or you did. And you just keep going.
probably gonna end the stream. But I'll hang out and chat. Just because the kiddo's out of daycare. But and
You're gonna
what was
get-
I thinking of?
Give me. I'll be like back in like 5 minutes, but you can keep talking about it. Just I gotta go grab something.
Sure.
Oh.
None of these are good. All these are bad. Shit.
Naruto upgrade.
Yeah. None of these are even really helpful upgrades, but
I'm here if you need me.
alright, I'm gonna end the YouTube stream and then just do side quests. We got Storm. That's good enough for me. With the tech issue.